Yo, we are back. We are live. What's going on, fam? Hope you guys are having an amazing Cinco de Mayo. What's good? I'm going to have another special guest join us here, Albert, here in a second. Let's see if y'all are able to join. I am, just truly focused. I haven't really been on social media much. My team has been executing at a high level, keeping my account active, but I've been behind the scenes, really just working behind the scenes on the back end of my new training, the Leader's Journey. So I'm super excited about that. All my clients, I've been giving them coaching around their leader's journey, just really helping them to understand the mindset of a leader, helping them to really identify with themselves, with thyself, right? And as a conscious leader, teaching them conscious leadership. And then what I call the machine of a leader, helping them to truly have the back-end systems to scale a leadership brand. And then the movement of a leader, helping them to have the skills to lead, your customers, to lead your audience, to lead your team, to truly be a leader in the world, right? How to get people behind you and behind your mission. So it's been really powerful. This has been like my life's work is to build all this. It's one step closer to my book. So it's been really cool. I can't wait for all my clients to be able to get the back end of the Leader's Journey. And if you're interested on the Leader's Journey, then just shoot me a DM, leader, and my team will reach out to you, set up a call, see if there's alignment, and invite you into my private mastermind community of leaders. I mean, there's so many powerful people. And one of the greatest parts of building my brand has been the relationships that I have been able to grow. So I'm so grateful to be surrounded by conscious leaders every single day that are elevating, growing, expanding, learning, and pushing each other to just grow their leadership brand, grow their business, grow their impact. So let's see if Albert is on here yet. I want to hear a little bit about his story and see if he's joined just yet. I don't see it yet. But guys, as you know, I would love it to get some questions from you guys. Anything around leadership, around branding, around impact, around entrepreneurship, around storytelling, around spirituality. These are all the things that I love, other than obviously family and travel and art. So yeah, definitely ask me some questions below. Use that little box that's in the corner here, and I'll be able to pull up those questions and just jam with you guys. So first of all, do me a favor and comment where you're from. So if you're just joining, comment where are you from, just so I can kind of see where everybody's coming in from. Albert just joined, so I'm excited that he just joined, so we can get this all started. Comment where you guys are from, and make sure to comment your questions, and we're going to kind of go in. I'm going to talk a lot about just real estate, wealth creation, and let's hear a little bit about Albert's story. Here. What's good, Santa Monica, New Jersey? That's my fam, New Jersey. What's up? Yeah, I see my mom here too. What's up, mamacita linda? Guys, I've been loving just so many of the Latina community hitting me up. I love you guys so much. And just seeing all the people that follow me from all over the world. Super, super cool. So let's see if Albert is able to join right now. I see Santa Monica. That's what's up. You get close to me. Arizona, London. I love London. I can't wait to go back to London. New York. New York gave me my state of mind, no doubt. We got more London, Saudi Arabia. That's what I'm talking about. I just had a client that signed up from Saudi. So shout out to my man. Let's see. What else? Majid. I don't know if he's here, but he just signed up. Got London, more London, Boston, Athens. I love that. Let's see. Albert didn't come through, so let's try this again. Let's try it again, Albert. Guys, put together any questions you have around building generational wealth, real estate. One of the things, there you go. My man, what's up,
What's up, man? How are you?
So good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you for taking some time to join on live and just share some of your wisdom, your experience, your inspiration. So I appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Where do we get started? Like, what do you want to talk about?
I really would love to talk a little bit about the come up for you, the struggle. Like, where were you at? What was the struggle? Because, obviously you know where we're at today, but I read that you had really started your company and started growing your company. Correct me if I'm wrong, but during the last economic recession with the mortgage, the whole mortgage crisis back then, when the bubble bursted. But you stayed true to solving a problem in that mortgage industry. And I loved, as I was reading your story about the come up, how you had this dream of like having your dream house one day, and what that was like and what you went through. And I think every single one of us has that dream, to eventually get that dream home, to be able to start a family, have the dog running around, have the big backyard, have the pool,
Yeah.
all of that. So just kind of want to hear a little bit of your come up story.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me. And I heard a lot of great things about you, by the way. I know you were with Patrick Bet-David.
Yes.
One of my good friends, mentor of mine. Also, Brad Lee. He's one of my best friends.
Oh, wow.
And I know we're connected to a lot of the same people. But I know about your company. You made good money, and you also I think we're around the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm 35.
35. I'm 37.
Nice.
I just turned 37. So
Congrats.
so really respect your hustle at a young age, and yeah, man, I think we are a good example to all the millennials that are out there that are trying to make it. And a lot of millennials have like a bad name, but I think you're putting out a really good name for them, and you're being a very good example to all of them.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I really appreciate that, and you as well. And I look forward to. I was just talking about before you jumped on the power of relationships. Like everything I've done and with my brand and telling my story and stepping up and being a leader of a generation, it's really tied to building quality relationships, and obviously inspiring everybody. But I value all the relationships that I've been able to build along the way, and I know we have a lot of mutual friends, and I respect what you do, and I look forward to building our relationship. So thanks, man. Thanks for honoring me.
Yeah, brother. So what I started doing is I was a loan officer, loan originator, and I started making a lot of money when I was 20, 21 years old. Then 2008, it just threw me down, and I lost everything. Became homeless. I had to sleep in my Ford Explorer just because I was embarrassed to go back to my parents' house, because they always told me, growing up Latino, I'm Mexican. I grew up with my parents being overprotective. That's how Hispanics are, and they're scared of everything. So my dad always told me, like, don't open a business, don't buy real estate, don't do this.
Yeah,
and
warriors. They're warriors.
Yeah, and I was the complete rebel.
Warriors.
That's right. And I was the complete party animal. I don't know if you like to party, but
I used to party hard. Yeah, not anymore, but yeah, I used to.
Yeah, I was the party animal, man. Like I had a place from Sunday to Monday. Like I mean, from Sunday all the way to the next Sunday, and then Monday was kind of like my recovery day. But if you wanted to have fun, like back in the day, you're from LA, right?
I'm actually from originally New Jersey. Then I lived in New York for 8 years, and then I just moved to LA 1 year ago.
Got it. So I knew all the hot spots. If you were here back in the day, I would have been the guy to go out with. So I made all those mistakes, and drinking, partying, women, and all that stuff. It just made me, it didn't help. And my priorities were all messed up. So I lost everything. And the only girl that I wanted to save was my now wife, who is Sylvia. And she stayed in that Ford Explorer for 2 months with me.
Wow.
We used to sleep there.
Oh, you kidding me? You stayed in a Ford Explorer for 2 months? Wow.
2 months. And I was always into fitness and taking care of myself. So we used to sneak into the gym to shower, work out, and then we would work from Starbucks and just make phone calls. And we stayed in the business, and I kept fighting. Every year I got better. And then the power of mentorship came in, and I started just applying all that knowledge. And I said, I need to get a mentor that's going to help me. And two big mentors in 2014 that I met were Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-David.
Wow.
So Grant helped me a lot with real estate investing, and he just kind of like gave me that extra push, like, you got to build your army, you got to expand. And then Patrick, he helped me create my business because he's really systematic. He's an entrepreneur. He has a company called PHP, and he's built it from nothing. So I wanted somebody that was going to teach me business, how to start a company from nothing. And then I also got a lot of help from Grant, and I started getting all that money buying real estate, and I opened my company called The Mortgage Guy. And then Patrick Patrick told me one big thing, that if I leave it as the mortgage guy, it's worth 10 million. But if I add a Ness mortgage guys, it's a $1 billion company. And I added that letter, I changed the name, and I went from like 10 people, 20 people in the company to over 200 people. And then from there on, it's been growing and growing and growing and growing. And then my social media has been growing, and one relationship introduced me to another one, to another one, to another one, and now we're speaking here. But it's just incredible how life is. And I think it all starts with being ethical, having your core values, being ethical, doing the right thing, like not taking any shortcuts, and working on this, and and taking care of your body. I know you like to work out too, so all of that has led to where we are right now, and I'm really, really excited about life. We're actually we are 9 quarters in a row of growth, and this was our biggest month ever, April, biggest month ever.
That's unbelievable. Well, congratulations. I want to learn a little bit more about, really the first thing that I want to talk about is, because you talked about having a lot of these individuals that have helped you along the way. You've had some powerful mentors, both Grant Cardone and Patrick Red-David. I've collaborated with, I've been on Leaders Create Leaders. Patrick has been on my, I repurposed it to my podcast. Grant was actually on my YouTube show. Super, super powerful. I want to talk to you about like the mindset of a leader, because obviously that is where it kind of all starts, where you had to probably make some shifts in your life. And then that probably you rewired your mindset, your beliefs. You talked about how we come from a heritage, a lot of times, of like warriors. So how did you go about rewiring that mindset? And can you maybe tell me a little bit about like, what are some pieces of advice you would give someone to get to access the mindset of a leader?
Well, when I was 6 years old, my dad's been a painter all his life. And I grew up in the ghetto, which is, the place is called Echo Park here in the ghetto, downtown LA, but it was like a really, really tough place where we had shootings, drug dealing, and I grew up there. And then my dad, one day I convinced him, he took me to paint with him in Beverly Hills. And I saw this mansion and this red car, which happened to be a Ferrari. And I asked my dad, like I confronted my dad. I was like, Dad, how come, why are we like living over there and driving this car? Like we should have this house and this red car, which was a Ferrari. Kids, they know what an exotic car is. Like every time I'm driving, like kids are like, hey, because I don't know what it is, but kids are attracted to it. And as a kid, you just feel like unstoppable, that anything is possible. So I told my dad, and then he said, because this is not for us. And then that just got me thinking. And I said, what do you mean it's not for us? And he said, yeah, it's not for us. And I said, well, how can we get it? How can we achieve it? And then he told me 2 powerful things. Never be a quitter, because a quitter one time is a quitter for life. And also work harder than everybody. If they wake up at 5, wake up at 4. If they go to sleep at 10, go to sleep at 11. So I committed to those 2 things. And then elementary, middle school, high school, I have an accent. I'm I'm one of the few Hispanic kids, minority kids in the school. It's 99% white. Everybody makes fun of me, my accent. I get put on ESL, and I had horrible grades. So my confidence just went down the drain.
Right.
And then I remember, like, I'm a fighter. I remember the promise I made to my father, and that just, it got me so upset. And then after high school, I started working on all my weaknesses, like weight training, like getting a tan, because I was really pale, had a lot of pimples, and I was really skinny. So I wanted to put on mass, and I started just working on all these things that I didn't like. And then college, I tried 3 different things. I dropped out. And I told my parents, I'm going to get into real estate, and college isn't doing anything for me. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad right when I quit my teacher assistant job. And that kind of like made me like, you got to get into something that's business. And I started working out, and I like that. And I started doing self-improvement, reading a book a week. And that just made me so powerful here in my mind, because every morning, I'm sure you wake up sometimes and you don't feel 100%, but you still have to go out there and produce.
100%.
And reading, listening. And now we have it so easy, because we could listen to podcasts, we could listen to audiobooks, and that just feeds us information. And then the workouts, they just get the blood flowing, and they just make me feel unstoppable. I can't go a day without working out and reading something.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, bro. It's so important. I think that the beginning of stepping into a leader and really activating true, financial freedom, time freedom, abundance, prosperity. It all starts right here and tapping into right here. And you got to make these shifts. The first thing that I talk about when making to make the shift is you got to discover like the shadow is what I call it. And it sounds like for you, because for a lot of us, it's like how we were raised and what we grew up in, and the fear that we started to have at a young age based on some kind of moment that happened in our lives where we started feeling that
Yeah.
like we were not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not this, we're not that. And then you got to make a shift, and that shift is when you take control and rewire your mindset, your beliefs, and you got to have the routine. It sounds like you have nailed down your routine. So every single day, tell me, how do you master your time and your energy? Like, do you feel that you're at a point now where like you really, you have a routine, what you're going to be, focusing on, and how do you really stay focused?
I studied the best people, and I continue to study them. And Grant was one of the first powerful people that I studied. I got very close with him, and then he introduced me to more people, and then I started just studying all these people. So many people like Bobby Castro, and it led to I moved into this place called 10,000 that's here in Century City, Beverly Hills, and it's a place where my rent is 20,000 a month.
Wow.
But people say like, why don't you just go buy a house instead of paying that? And I invest in real estate, so I invest in multi-units like Grant, and I've made money there. But the reason why I committed to those 20,000 just to rent is because that environment, there's a few billionaires that live there. So I see it as like a $20,000 mastermind that I pay every month because I'm connected to those guys. Jordan Belfort lives there, Lewis House lives there, and many other people that are not known on social media but are really, really wealthy. So when I'm there in the mornings working out, I'm working out with these guys. I'm having breakfast with these guys. They have a lounge, a bar. So when I go there, they're there. And I'm always like just taking information and learning. So what I developed over the last 10 years is like a routine where every morning I wake up 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and sometimes sooner than that.
Oh my God.
And my first 3 hours consist of self-improvement and working out. So I'm working out and self-improvement. And that just gets me started because most of the time I just wake up and my shoulder hurts. I'm dehydrated, like something's wrong. But then when I wake up, I don't know if you have a family, but I have a family. I have two little daughters. One's 3 years, 3 months, and one's 5 months. So when I wake up and I see them and I see my wife, and I'm like, and then we employ over 200 people. I'm like, I have no choice. Like I already committed to being an entrepreneur, and it's one of the hardest things you'll ever commit to. And I have no choice. Now a lot of lives depend on me, and I have no choice but to keep improving. And thanks to Patrick. I spend a lot of time with Patrick, and he's always recommending me books. I always bounce ideas with him. And one of the best books I've read, by the way, is Principles by Ray Dalio.
Yeah.
That had a lot to do with expanding my business in the last couple of years.
Right. Wow. Powerful. Yeah. An unbelievable book. And I really just believe in having principles in your business, principles that you live by in your life, really having those like core pillars where you're really mastering the mind, the body, the spirit, your business. And it's just, I'm really interested now that you kind of talked a little bit about, how you've been able to master your routine and your mindset and your energy and your time, and then the power of proximity of surrounding yourself, even to the point of living in a place with some of the people like Lewis Howes and Jordan Belfort. Talk to me a little bit. I would love this to kind of gear a little more towards real estate, because it's something that I feel has always been one of the biggest drivers of wealth in the world. And I think a lot of people are wondering, like, should I be thinking about owning a home right now? And, should you be, Grant talks about like renting where you live and then go and invest your money on properties. So what is your philosophy around creating wealth with real estate?
Well, let me tell you, that's the best best investment you can make, and let me tell you why. And I'm pretty close with Ed Milet too. Ed Milet, he owns like a bunch of properties paid off cash. He has single family homes. He has you know, he believes in paying a lot of things cash. He paid his jet cash. You know Ed?
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, big mentor.
So Ed, we were talking yesterday, but I started with a 3-unit property. So in 2013, I was really broke. I was recovering from 2008, and I was making a little bit more money. But 2013, I had $3,000 in the bank. I had a 560 FICO score, and I had $80,000 of collections because I was still cleaning up from what happened. And you know, a lot of things staying on your credit for like 7 years. And sometimes you could remove them sooner. You can negotiate. And so that's where I was at, 2013. And one of my mentors, who was a millionaire at the time, he was worth like 1 million. He told me, Albert, don't buy single family anymore. Buy multi-units. Take advantage of FHA. FHA is a program that allows you, a government program that allows you 3.5% down up to 4 units. So back then, thanks to this mentor, speaking about information, right? So this mentor gave me the right information, said, Albert, don't buy a single family anymore, because I lost 2 homes. I got 2 homes foreclosed in 2008. So he said, buy units. And I was close. I opened escrow for a house again, and I was going to buy it FHA, because FHA, your FICO score could go like below 600. So my plan was, I'm not ready to buy it because I can't have $80,000 of collections and all that stuff. But while in escrow, I was going to get an extension and fix my credit, and then another extension and save the rest of the down payment, because 3.5 wasn't enough for the down payment. My down payment was like about $12,000. So I opened escrow and I just committed, and I was going to figure it out and fix it later. So after 3-4 extensions, the sellers wanted to kill me. They wanted, like, I got a lot of people borderline heart attacks, right? But then after 90-something days, I closed that deal for $266, 3 units. I moved into one of the units for a little bit and then moved out, then rented all the 3 units. I was making about $2,000 a month. And then I kept those 3 units for 4 years and 5 months. And then I did the same thing with my now wife, Sil. I had her buy 4 units. I told her, we're not getting married until you get your 4 units FHA. So she got her 4 units FHA. So we ended up getting 7 units for 7% down payment. These 7 units combined made us almost $1 million in 4.5 years, because they appreciated. Wow. And those were one of the many that we had. So we found what works, and then we started buying more 4 units, more 3 units, more 4 units. So all of those properties appreciated, net me over $2 million, which I used to buy, to like grow my businesses, expand, market, and all this stuff. And if it weren't for that, it's really hard to save $2 million just by your income. But when you buy real estate and you just plant it and you focus on working to pay your bills and to save a little bit of money, you have 4-unit properties, 8-unit properties, and they're building equity and they're making you money every month. And then you get tax write-offs and all that stuff. So I learned business, and I'm a big student. So I'm always studying. What can I do? And because of those units, I'm where I am today. If it weren't for that, I would be another loan officer struggling, living paycheck to paycheck.
Well, thank you so much, man, for just being straight up, raw, real, and giving us the roadmap. It's unbelievable, man. God bless you, your wife, your 2 daughters. I think it's so amazing to hear the come up, man, and how you made it happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the power of having a mentor that just gave you that one relationship with one golden nugget, and next thing you know, that allowed you to build $2 million in savings and now build your business. So talk to me about your business now. And, you know, gosh, I'm just curious, with everything that's going on right now in this crisis, like, is it too late? Like, should we wait to buy right now, or is now the time to buy? And what is your forecast on the real estate market?
Well, I would tell everybody to wait 6 months. I think Christmas time is going to be a great time to like pull the trigger. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to start looking. I'm still prepared right now, because I'm still looking for opportunities, because I feel like right now still you could find somebody that's desperate, like kind of like somebody, like a lot of people are selling their watches for like 75% off. They're selling everything they can because they need the money and they're in desperation mode. And it's huge opportunities. Like I have a billionaire mentor that tells me I make the most money when recessions happen.
Yeah.
And there's huge opportunities for those that are prepared with the information and the liquid. So I think another 6 months from today, like around December, more or less, I think that's going to be when you're going to be able to buy a lot of stuff cheap for a big discount. And what I'm going to do is from December all the way till maybe another year and a half, I'm just going to be buying real estate every month. Like I'm prepared to buy a property a month, a property a month, a property a month, and I'm just going to stack up with real estate, and I'm going to do the same thing I did, buy low, and then maybe refinance later, pull out money, or maybe sell them in 5 years from now or 7 years from now. I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. But I still think that right now you could find that opportunity. You could find a great opportunity, a great deal. Kind of like when you're looking for a girl and you're like, I'm not ready for a girl yet. You know, I'm just gonna have fun and I'll be ready a year from now. But you never know. Sometimes that girl comes in the weirdest moments, and you never know. But so I would say keep your eyes open, but I would start looking around December, because December people are distracted by the holidays and you have less competition.
So like one of the things that I've been thinking about doing, and I'm just curious what your advice would be, right, is like, because listen, on a day-to-day basis, real estate is not my expertise. You know what I mean? Like I've owned properties. You know, I've invested before with real estate people who are really, really big in real estate. And they would find the deal. They would come to me. I would be the money guy. They would go and develop the property, build it out, and then flip it. And we were more into like flipping homes. But I was always interested in like putting together almost like a syndicate. And because my whole thing is like, how do you find these deals, right? Like I don't have the time to go and study my area. Well, I could make the time if it was a priority, of course, but like I'm always wondering like, what's the best strategy to find these investments and really be able to know if this is going to, you know, provide an ROI? And should you do it? Do you recommend doing it alone or doing it with wifey? Do you recommend putting together a syndicate with some friends? What is your advice there?
I would do it on my own, 100%, because I like to have control. Yeah. And I don't like to have other people that rely on me for that, because I just don't like to. I don't like to be in control of other people's money. Yeah. Because like, look at what happened right now. Imagine if you're collecting $8 million a month in rent, and then right now people stop paying the rent for 3 months, 6 months. You need to have a lot of savings, or it's not going to be very good for you. And I know I've learned a lot from Bobby Castro. I don't know if you know Bobby Castro, but he's worth he has a net worth of 300 million personal net worth. He sold the company for $1 billion, and he has $300 million of real estate, and it's all his own money. He has 2,000 units, and he never. And I asked him the same question, like, why don't you like get people's money and invest into more units? And he said he just doesn't want to have that. He doesn't feel like it's the right thing for him to do. He just rather be in control of his own money and grow. And it's really easy to do it yourself. Like, it's not rocket science. You just gotta,
I guess, hire a team to manage it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not hard at all. Like it kind of gets it's like a hobby. Like once you like learn the numbers, the tenants, the properties, the buildings, like it just becomes kind of fun, and it's like a hobby. Like I don't really have anything that I do but work, office, and family. I don't watch any more sports. I don't go bar hopping with bros. Yeah. All my whole life is just business, and I'm very happy with it. I love business. I love working 18 hours a day. Like I feel like I'm young and I need to do it now, because when I'm 60, I don't want to be grinding. Like I don't want to have to be doing that. I want to be like so well that I'm good. So I think right now, if I could work 18 hours a day, great. Like I'm happy working. I love working. I love having money. I don't like the feeling of being broke. And when you become and when you build leaders and you see other people in the company become also making their millions, best feeling ever, best feeling ever. And then I'm sure you hear it a lot when people DM you and they tell you, Gerard, you changed my life. You're an influence. You helped me. How does that feel? That feels amazing to me. I'm sure it feels the same for you.
Yeah, man. It's you know, it's priceless, bro. It's like, it's fulfillment. You know, I really know that, like, obviously I'm on a path of creating real wealth, but at the same time, there's, for me, just having that, knowing that I'm able to give people a path to finding success in their own life. And then having that, some of my mentees, man, I met when they were, you know, completely broke, $5,000 to their name, and now they have, you know, millions of dollars. I just visited one in San Diego, freaking floor to ceiling windows, home overlooking the ocean, his kids running around, and he's like, thank you so much, G, for like showing me a way. And I can't take the credit because he had to do the work, but being able to give him the inspiration and then give him a roadmap, and now seeing that he has this wealthy life that he's created. I have a video coming out with him in a couple of days. It's like the best feeling in the world, and that's my goal, man. As many people as possible, I want to help them to create success in their lives, and continue to just share my journey as I continue to evolve and create more success in my life. So yeah, Albert. So like, what are you currently teaching? Do you have? I saw someone comment something about Driven Academy. Like, do you have students? Are you teaching? Are you teaching people how to do what you do, or are you just really focused on your own portfolio, investing at the moment?
Well, this is how it all started. My company, my core business is mortgages. So that's my bread and butter. That's what got me started. That's what made me my first million. And I got into, and I had, the company was called The Mortgage Guy. But then after mentoring from Patrick and brainstorming, we added an S, and that grew the company, because a big ego top producer is not going to work for Albert, because the Mortgage Guy everybody knew the Mortgage Guy as Albert. And the way my innovative campaign was to get a Ferrari to promote mortgages by lifestyle, like Albert, the guy in the Ferrari, mortgages, because nobody was doing that.
Did you get the Ferrari?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Bro.
So
tell me that's not the best feeling, man. I'll never forget the day. And it's not because of anyone else. It was just like this moment for me of like a dream come true, kind of like all the blood, sweat, and tears. So it just like felt awesome to leave that dealership and just go to my parents' house and drive with my father. And
yeah,
I'll never forget that day. But that's cool, bro. That's cool.
So
you were using it for business, though. You were using it for the cloud.
Yeah, well, I promised my dad, it was my dream car, and I promised him at 6 years old that I was going to get that red car, not knowing it was a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I told him, I promise you I'm going to get it. I'm going to work hard. I'm never going to quit. And I'm going to buy you guys a house. I'm going to get this Ferrari. And then and then when I was 2015, end of 2015, I made a commitment, and I told my assistant, go to Amazon, buy me a fake Ferrari key. And that was the only good thing. That was the only thing that was good that assistant did. Like, that assistant was fired. So that assistant did nothing good, but she did one amazing thing. She bought me a fake Ferrari key from Amazon. I put that key in my keychain, and I used to take it everywhere. When I used to go to the restaurant, to the bar, I would put it there, like on top of the table. When I used to go to Equinox, I still do. I went to Equinox, and I used to leave the key right there on the floor so that everybody could see it, because I wanted people to think I had a Ferrari, so that it would remind me every day, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. So I made that commitment for 3 years from now, I'm going to get a Ferrari. It took me 2 months after I got that key. 2 months from the key, I got the Ferrari. And then it was a 2011 pre-owned 458 Italia. And I got that car. Nobody knew it was used, because a Ferrari always, like 2011, it was 2015. It looked brand new. People don't know the difference. So I used to park it in front of my office, and guess what it did? It brought me so much business. Like, all of a sudden, everybody wanted to be part of me. All the realtors wanted to give me loans, business, and
That's crazy. Oh my God.
That car, this realtor didn't want to work with me. After I got the car, second day, he's like, hey, is that your car? And he knew it was my car because he was all over my Facebook. And I said, yeah, it's my car. Now he wanted to take me out to lunch, and he gave me 3 deals that same month which made me 15,000 each. So it made me 45,000. It paid off the car for a year because my payment was 2,100. And I got that kind of pre-owned old Ferrari, and it changed my life completely. And after that, I just took off. But then everybody knew me as Albert and the Ferrari, the mortgage guy. So Patrick said, add a nest, because, you know, a big ego top producer is not going to want to be your little bitch. He's going to want to work for the mortgage guys, a company, plural, we. And I added the S, and it just grew the company. Like, it multiplied the company. Everybody wanted to be part of the company. And then I started talking about my vision is to build a $1 billion company, and anybody that wants to join me right now, we're going to grow together. And if you earn it, you're going to get equity of the company, and you're going to be a big winner with me. You're going to become as wealthy as you want to become, but you have to earn it. And now we've been growing the company. And then I said, how can I grow it more? Let's get a real estate company, because, you know, realtors feed mortgages. Every realtor that sells a house, they need a mortgage guy. So I got a real estate company, and I said, how about realtors? I'll pay you 100% commission. And people were like, why is he doing that? This guy's like crazy. He's driving Ferraris, mortgage guy, and now he's paying realtors 100% commission. Is he out of his mind? And what I was thinking is, I'm going to get all the realtors to feed me mortgages. So I did that. And then I said, what else can I add to this triangle? Let me create Driven. Like, let me create like my 10X, so that I could have my conferences and teach entrepreneurship, which I'm doing, and teach people how to market and speak on stage and have the power of the narrative. And I did that, and that helped me recruit more people to real estate, which feeds mortgages, which I have Driven. And then those three companies combined are growing together. So that's been helping me with, I have like every angle covered, and they're all working in together.
Wow. Wow, that's really it's really interesting, right? Because there's I commend like the strategy there. I think the Ferrari story is super funny, but ultimately I respect how, because I really believe, I talk about building a leadership brand, right? And how that leadership brand can really drive so many things, can drive your entire vision, and just create multiple income streams, can help fund, can help build your current business, but it also you can expand into so many different other areas, like areas of impact and educating people. The core product that you have, for you, it's around, like, it sounds like mortgages, but then you also are speaking on stage, and, just building this entire ecosystem that's working together and building entire enterprise around you as the leader. And I just really respect that, because that's something that, I have as well. Looked, and what's cool is, like, you're going to continue to evolve, and you have this massive community now of students that trust you, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really powerful.
And something important too is, I created a Driven Academy, which is the virtual training. So it's, instead of stage and events, I created my virtual training, which is called Driven Academy, kind of like all these virtual training that other influencers have. And I created it through Lightspeed with Brad Lee. So
I was thinking about taking mine to Lightspeed. Right now we use Kajabi. Yeah,
dude, you won't regret it. It's like day and night.
Really?
Yeah. And so what I started doing is, I started doing that, and I did it way before the whole Corona thing happened. So now events are canceled for the moment, but everybody started subscribing to Driven Academy, and then it just started building, and it's doing really, really good. So I was fortunate to just get into it before, and now what it's doing is, Driven Academy is getting a lot of it's feeding a lot of people to Ambiance, to my real estate company, and to mortgage guys, and I'm reaching people through Instagram, for refinances, for selling their homes, for lowering their interest rate. So those three companies work really good together, and we added the virtual part, which is helping us a ton right now. It's making us thrive in these moments, which is kind of crazy.
Right. I love it. Give me real quick, like, what are some tips that you have for someone that wants to, follow in that path, that wants to build a leadership brand for whatever their lane is? Do you have any advice for someone out there that, can start to think bigger, right? Like, you're building an entire enterprise, you're thinking billions, right? So how can someone think bigger and then leverage building a brand to be able to help to funnel into that vision?
I mean, I think the first part is you got to focus on helping the masses. Like a billionaire told me once, Albert, if you focus on helping the masses, you'll become wealthy. But if you focus on helping the wealthy, you'll become poor. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. I have to, because 99% of the population is not wealthy. 1% is wealthy, but 99% of the people are, average people. But if you focus on helping all of them, you're going to have a bigger number. So all my businesses are for the middle class and lower. And of course, I have some of the one percenters, but I focus on the masses. So for example, my average loan amount purchase price is $500,000, more or less. But we do hundreds of deals a month. So it adds up. And I'm attracting those clients, and that's allowing, and I'm focusing on helping them. But at the same time, something that you have that is what I'm going to say people need, because there's so many people out there that are influencers and that want to teach people, want to coach people, want to charge people for all that stuff, and they're not really they're not entrepreneurs, they're instapreneurs.
Oh, I like that. The entrepreneurs, instapreneurs. Like,
yeah,
they don't have the real experience and knowledge and have done it themselves.
exactly. And I think what separates you is like you're a verified guy. You sold your company. You have the results that speak for themselves, and you're a solid dude that can teach somebody how to start a business, how to sell a business, and there's so many people. There's just so much garbage out there. Yeah. And I think people have to learn from the right people. So watch the source of your advice, like learn from people like you, like Patrick, like Grant, like these people that have done it. And hey, are these people going to have problems? Of course. Are they going to make mistakes? Of course. Is right now kind of challenging? Yeah. But I guarantee you that these guys are all fighters, and they're going to figure it out.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with you. That's the reason why I built my brand, was because ultimately I saw a lot of those instapreneurs and entrepreneurs, and I was like, we need more leaders out there that have actually done it, that have the results, that can go out there and share their story with the world, because for the first 12 years of my career, I was behind closed doors. I didn't tell my story. I was letting my results, I was focusing on my business, but then I realized when social media, Instagram popped off in 2000, I don't know, it came around around 2010, I think is when Instagram really kicked off, around that time frame. And around 2015 is when I decided to go all in, telling my story and sharing my expertise. But that was after I had already built 2 8-figure businesses, and I finally felt ready to step forward and start teaching. But because I really did see a lot of people that were taking advantage of social media to sell courses, but they didn't necessarily have the results in their own life. So I highly recommend that you guys, if you're looking to hire a mentor, hire a coach, or join a program, look at the founder. Like, do they have those results that you're looking for in their life? And if so, speak to them. Don't just buy a course. See if you can connect with them and their team, and see if they actually are willing to pay attention to you and actually listen to you and hear your vision and understand your pain points and understand what your goals are. And if they actually have a proven process to get you to where you want to be. So,
Right.
Albert, I appreciate you, man, for taking some time. I want to take some questions, guys. So I'm going to take 3 questions, comment them, use that box on the bottom here, and let's get some questions popping. Let's see here.
You want me to check out? You want me to check out, G, or you want to keep me on?
No, keep you on, Albert. Real quick, what has been the most challenging experience, and in overcoming it, what was your biggest take back?
Is that for G or is that for me?
You wanna? We both can go at it if you want.
Well, my biggest challenge for me was getting rid of toxic people. And sometimes these toxic people could be your family and close friends and people that have been your long-term buddies. And you're never going to change or grow if you have your buddy telling you like, hey, try this, come on. Or people are like if your buddies are hanging out at the strip club, bars, doing drugs, like it's going to be impossible. So I had to move away even though I lived in the local, even though I had a broker shop in my local place, I drove an hour to Irvine just to get away from those people, to join a different broker that had ethics. And then there, I just went there, and it didn't make sense to drive that hour, but it made a lot of sense because I was placed in a better environment. So that was life-changing. So getting rid of all these toxic people, including family. I don't know if you ever had that problem with family and close friends that you're like, no, but they're family. I can't get rid of them. Of course you can. And now that just made a big difference. But what about you, G?
You know, I would say for me, actually, during the last recession, we didn't have a health pandemic like we do now, but during around that last financial crisis, I had built my first 8-figure business. We just hit the 8-figure mark. We had 10 million in revenue, and I put all my money in the stock market because that was my business, was marketing publicly traded companies. And I lost it all, man. And I hit rock bottom. The market crashed. I took my eye off the ball. The stocks I had invested in, I was very big in investing into high risk, high reward stocks. Stocks were, you know, that would do really, really well. But when the economy crashed, like, they tanked. And I was like barely getting money out. So I was left with basically nothing. And I had to go. And my mother was the one who got me to bounce back. She told me how she immigrated here from Colombia, and they had nothing. My grandparents had literally nothing. You know, studio apartment with a family of 5, and that apartment caught on fire.
Wow.
My mom had to drop out of school, being the oldest at 16, to get a job on Canal Street in Manhattan in the winter to make a little bit of money to be able to put food on the table for my aunt and uncles and my grandparents to overcome that adversity. And she said, if I was able to get through that, and you can lose all the money in the world, Gerard, but they'll never take this and they'll never take this. So you got to get out there and you got to do it again. You got to push yourself through. And that gave me the ambition and the resilience to step forward and think about, what do I really love doing? What is a problem I want to solve in the world that I wish existed? And how can I just go at it relentlessly? And that was the beginning of me creating EliteDaily.com, which was a publication I wanted to create for millennials by millennials. And I built the largest and fastest growing millennial publication in the United States right after the recession, and sold to $1 billion company. So for all of you that are watching this, my biggest, most challenging moment happened right about now, back then. And that was between 2008 and 2010. And I founded the company in 2010. The idea kind of was cultivating a little bit before then. And we built it and then sold in 2015 to $1 billion company. So, you know, this is just like in real estate, you know, when he talked about that billionaire saying that he made the most money during a recession, that is right now. Your biggest opportunity is right now with what's going on. To get focused, you know, focus on you, focus on your personal growth, your leadership, your business. Go all in, because, you know, if it happened to me, it could happen to anyone. I grew up not having anything handed to me. So I'm gonna go to the next question here. We have 10 minutes before we'll get kicked off. I got Mo. Mo's one of my mastermind clients. He says, what was your biggest cultural obstacle you needed to overcome? Did you have any cultural obstacles? I think you mentioned them a little bit earlier, but what was the cultural obstacle?
Well, I remember, like, I tried getting into the high market. For a time, I wanted to be like a $1 million listing agent. And this was like right before 2008, 2007. It was already starting to get bad. So I figured, let me try to be $1 million agent and work for Sotheby's here in Beverly Hills, and I wasn't focused on my niche. I wasn't focused on my audience. I wasn't tracking, and I got big on metrics after Patrick, and I started just studying, like, well, what is my audience? Why don't I target my audience? So just so all of you know, 80% of my audience are men, Latinos, millennials. So I noticed, like, if my audience, 80% of my audience are Latino, male, millennials, why am I going to target anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm going to spend all my time and my money on my 80% audience, and the 20% are going to come. The females are going to come. The other people are going to come, but let me spend all my energy on this 80%. And I started doing that, and every company that I opened, I focus on this 80%.
Wow.
And that's when all 3 companies just blew up together.
Wow.
And then I still have, like, different people, but I focus on my audience, my
So,
niche.
yeah. So guys, the power, right, of like getting polarized and getting specific, getting definitive, and really focusing in on the target demographic that you can speak to, relate to, and understand better than they even understand themselves, and have a path to get them to where they want to be. So Albert, you know, he's done that, and sometimes it's hard because we want to serve everyone, but as the old saying goes, you try to serve everyone, you end up serving no one. All right,
Yeah.
so another question here. This is guys, there's so many questions popping in. Jeez, guys, you should have put these earlier. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see. How much time do you dedicate to your personal brand? So knowing that you're building all these businesses, like, this is a good question, I think, because I've had to figure out, even for myself as a CEO, how to actually build systems to really automate and delegate for being able to create content at scale and have a personal brand that still has authenticity and, you know, vulnerability, but being able to not have so much time dedicated to social media, right? Because you got to do business, right? There's a lot of these people that have personal brands that have 1 million followers, but they're broke as fuck because they don't know how to actually build a business, right? So there is a balance between understanding when you got to be building your business and working on your business, and then how you can then have the systems to scale what I call a leadership brand.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think you nailed it with people that have $1 million but are broke as fuck. Like that should be a quote that you put on under your name, but because like I see them all over the place. But what I do, and maybe you could relate to this, is I was doing 20% for my personal brand and 80% for my companies, because my companies, I want to build. I'm working on building $1 billion companies, so my personal brand, it has to be there, but I want to build a business that's going to work on autopilot. I'm going to have systems so tight that it's going to work and on autopilot. So when I'm not here, when I come here, like I have my metric, I have like, if you could see my office right here, I have like 7 monitors, like all metrics, all stats from all the companies. I'm always looking at stats.
Yeah.
But I learned something really important, that I kind of had to up the 20% for my personal brand, especially in these times, because every company has a face. If you look at PHP, they have Patrick. If you look at Cardone's companies, they have Grant's face. If you look at like, it's very powerful. Ed Milet is
people
like,
buy into people now. They don't just watch a commercial anymore, but just buying into the main brand. They buy into people, and you can still build. Like my buddy who was on here, he's building a really dope brand called Pathwater. You know, you can have your brand crush it, but there is such power now in representing your brand and being a voice and being a brand. And Albert, man, I would love to help you with that. Real talk. Like, if you ever need any support and understanding the systems that I've been able to grow and build, like, that's my whole mastermind, man, is built around conscious leadership, but then also the back end systems to how I scale a leadership brand. So if I can ever support you in that, man, let me know. Because I love what you stand for, and I look forward to building.
We definitely have to connect more often, and I'll send you a DM and we'll connect. I'll text you, and also I think though that 80%, like, you build your brand so powerful, because like what I'm doing is I'm using 80% of my power from my personal brand to grow all my companies. So I'm not using my personal brand to attract ladies or attract like other things.
Right.
I'm using it to grow my companies, and it's working very, very nicely.
So you down to answer maybe 1 or 2 more questions?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So we got another one here. Shout out to Brian. He said, what advice do you have for someone trying to scale a business?
Systems.
Yes. Power, man. So true. Let's see here. What's your greatest advice for growing a leader?
Greatest advice for growing a leader. I think you have to be improving yourself every day. Like, every week you have to improve yourself. Every month you have to be a better you. You have to look back a month back and be like, I can't believe I was that stupid a month ago. Because you have to get that much better, or else your leaders are going to leave you. You have to put golden handcuffs in your leaders and develop new leaders, and have your leaders develop other leaders. So for me, I have to get better every month. I have to get better every day. If you did 12 reps, do 13 reps the next day. Do 4 every day. Do more every day. Work, and it's kind of like a sickness that I have, but I think it's a good sickness because one day I woke up a day in advance. Like let me explain. I was so exhausted that I fell asleep like at 8:05, and then I woke up and I had my Fitbit that was tracking my pulse and all that. So
Right.
every day that I wake up, I do the same routine. I go to the bathroom, wash my face, my teeth, and then I'm like, okay, let me start my self-improvement and my workout. And then I look at the time, and it's like 12:26. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I go back, I check my Fitbit, and it says you woke up at 11:46 p.m. So I woke up 11:46 p.m. So I woke up a day in advance, and I just didn't know, and I just went through my routine because every day I feel the same. I wake up and I'm like, man, it's early. I don't feel like waking up, but I always do the things that I hate. And I think you have to improve as a leader in order to keep these leaders that you're developing, or else they'll leave you.
Wow, that's so powerful, man. Leaders create leaders, man, and you got to lead by example, is what Albert's saying. So another one here is, I kind of just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about this because you're an expert at this, but she says that, she says that she's ready to buy a multi-unit, but can't afford where she lives in LA. So I'm looking out of state. Is 20% the only way? I can't read the entire question here, but like, what advice do you just, I guess if I can, so that it's powerful for everybody. What happens if you can't afford a multi-unit, but you want to get involved in starting to invest into multi-units? What happened? What do you advice would you give someone? Because I know someone else asked another question about like, how do you get seed money? So just what advice do you give someone who's like wants to get that first one, like you and your wife did?
Buy a 4-unit, because 4-unit is the highest you could go, and finance FHA, especially right now, because right now is the time you want to leverage as much as you can, because right now you're going to buy low. So right now, just be very patient and go out and look at 4-unit properties. And if you can, buy outside of a big city, like maybe go 50 miles out and take that long drive. But if you buy in an outside city, like the outskirts, you're going to be able to buy something more affordable and just deal with the pain. Like live in one of the units for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. And then after that, you move out, and then you just rent all 4 units that pay the mortgage. And then you net like $1,000 a month or more. You're making $1,000 a month renting all units. And you keep your property for 7 years, 5 years, and whenever it's time, you sell it, and you just made $250,000 or maybe more than that, and you did it just by planting a seed over there, and that's only 3.5% down. Because if you want to buy, if you want to finance conventional, it's going to be 25% for a 4-unit.
Yeah. Fire, man! I can't wait to learn more. I can't wait to build our relationship. I think we only have 1 hour on IG Live. So, Albert, thank you so much, guys. Make sure to go follow Albert. He's putting out a ton of, he's done it, right? Like, again, he's done it. He's going out there. He's creating wealth through real estate. He can help you. He can guide you. Follow him, DM him, comment on his stuff. Go ask him some questions. Albert, man, shoot me a DM and let's continue the conversation, bro. Continue to build a friendship, and we can support each other some more. And I'm here for you, man. Anything you need from me, you reach out to me. And when this whole thing ends, I'd love to get together with you, grab dinner, and continue to just grow, man. We got to be, I really believe like we need to be that example for the Latino community. And for me, being a millennial, it's why it's built such a strong relationship with Danny Morel. There's not many of us Latinos out there and Latinas out there to really lead by example. And I really am grateful that you're doing the work that you're doing, and you're looking to help people all along the way as you're creating wealth for your own family. So thank you for your leadership, bro.
Appreciate it, brother. So we'll stay connected.
Sounds good.
All right.
Peace. All right, guys. So make sure you go and follow Albert Presido. And I appreciate you guys jumping on again for another live. I have another one tomorrow. One of my clients, she is super, super powerful, and she's building a movement, and it's around leadership. So we're going to dive all into that tomorrow. Stay tuned so that you can meet Stephanie. And guys, if this was valuable to you, please do me a favor, comment on my last pick, go follow Albert. And I'm also going to be sending out a couple really dope emails this week of stories that I've never shared before. So if you're not on my email list, right now, go to gerardadams.com, gerardadams.com. It's free. Just sign up to my newsletter, and you guys will hear some of these stories. But I appreciate you guys. Go crush some tacos. It's Cinco de Mayo. It's your boy GA. Love you guys. Peace.